Welcome to GTN Ask Anything. We love getting your feedback, your comments, and your questions that you leave at the bottom of our videos, but also that we get through our social. And this week we've selected a few that are swimming specific, and I'm going to be doing my very best to answer some of those. Right, our first question comes in via Instagram, and this one's sent in by Tyler 04199. And Tyler asks, how do you train your body and not to go into a slight panic state when the water is very cold? Well, Tyler, it does take practice, and it also takes a bit of time when you're doing it. So it is the body's natural reaction that if it feels cold water, your veins and your arteries are going to shrink, and therefore the blood is going to be restricted to the vital organs. It's your body's way of actually maintaining its core temperature. But you do need to get in very gradually, because if this happens very quickly, you'll also feel a little bit lightheaded, and you can start to panic, and it makes your breathing very difficult. So first of all, make sure you're dressed adequately. So if you are doing a cold water swim, make sure you've got a proper wetsuit and a thermal wetsuit if you have the option, if it's the extreme temperatures. And also it might be worth, for training at least, investing in some gloves and some booties if you're going to be doing a lot of cold water swimming. And your head is obviously the area which you can lose a lot of heat. So wearing a skull cap, these often come with a chin strap, which does take a little bit of getting used to because it might feel like it's restricting you. You can get some that adjust your head, but I promise you the skull cap will help cover your ears and actually keep you that much warmer. And then put your bright coloured swim cap on over the top just to make sure that you're easily visible. And then it comes to the getting in, which isn't a fun part, and it does help if you actually do it a little bit slowly. Some people say jump right in, but that's when the panic can strike. So if you get your wrists and your ankles wet and cold, then that'll start to actually help your body to get used to the cold that's going to actually envelop it as you get in. Get in slowly. And then the worst bit is actually letting the cold water inside your wetsuit. And it might be a natural reaction to try and keep it sealed, but you do have to let that water go in, because then it'll actually stay as a seal and it will warm up inside your wetsuit, and that actually is what keeps you warm. It's not the wetsuit itself, it's keeping that layer of water between your skin and your wetsuit. And then last of all, once you've got used to being in the water, then start putting your face in. Just your face to start with for a few seconds at a time, bring it back up, and it'll gradually get more and more easy. To start with, it will really hurt. Cold water, I hate it. It will hurt your face, but the longer you get to keep it in, eventually it'll go slightly numb, I guess, and then that's when you're ready to start swimming. So I must admit, it's never going to get any more enjoyable, but it will get more easy with practice, and also make sure you've got time in which to get into the water. Our next question comes in from Rares Raduku, sent in via Facebook. And Rares asks, what is the one go-to drill to improve the horizontal line in the water? He says his bottom and legs sink, so he creates a drag and wants to correct that. Well, Rares, first of all, you are definitely not alone. This is probably the most common problem, especially among triathletes, because you've got very muscular legs from cycling and running. But you'll be pleased to know it is fairly easy to at least make an improvement on, if not fix entirely. And if you imagine your body is like a seesaw, so say this is your head and here are your legs. If your legs are sinking, your head's probably going up. But more to the point, your head's probably gone up first, that's made your legs sink in the first place. So we need to address your full body position. And just adjusting something as slight as the angle that you're looking at ahead of you can actually change your whole leg position. So instead of looking with maybe your chin poking out straight ahead, try to angle your vision downwards and in front of you. So at a, say, 45-degree angle down towards the bottom of the swimming pool or towards the bottom of wherever you are swimming. And that should automatically help to lift your hips up. But that's obviously just more of a visualization and something you need to improve. But to put this into an actual drill, if you do have the access to a snorkel, this is a great start, because then you can control your head position and keep it completely still. And we're going to work on sculling. So with your head in the water, breathing through your snorkel, having your hands out in front, and you want to practice and focus on the front skull. So that is this section of the stroke, and it's almost as though you're creating two mounds of sand with your hands. So it's working on the catch phase, the very beginning part of the stroke. Now, you're not going to propel yourself very fast forwards with this, but you can use a pull buoy just to help keep those hips up nice and high and focus on your head position and the front part of your stroke. And when you come back to doing full stroke, you'll hopefully have a better catch, which will automatically help push pressure down at the front, which will then automatically help lift your legs and your bottom. Next question comes in from Volker Schmidt. And Volker says, hi guys, I'm mostly struggling with breathing and after 15 to 20 meters, I'm feeling short of breath. I'm assuming this is either too much air out under the water or not enough air in whilst at the side. Do you have any tips for that? Well, Volker, to start with, it isn't as simple as having too much air in or out, because you are probably not able to take too much air in on your in breath. And when it comes to breathing out, you actually do want to release all of your breath, but in a slow, controlled manner. And that's the key. It's about controlling your breathing. So first of all, I want to know actually how many strokes or how often you're taking a breath. Some people might be holding their breath thinking you need to do 3 or 4 strokes before breathing. It's perfectly fine to do 2 strokes for every breath. So you're breathing nice and regularly, because if you imagine when you're running, you are breathing regularly and as often as you want to. And obviously with swimming, our natural instinct as soon as we're in the water is to hold our breath. So breathing out whilst having your head in the water is vital. It does sound like you're already doing that, but you need to control it. So the best way is to think that you just want to let it trickle out very slowly, and then when it comes to your second stroke and you're ready to breathe in again, you're not going to be gasping, but you're ready to take in a natural breath. And a good drill for this, something called mushroom sink downs, when you literally get into a ball and then you just let out the air very slowly, and you'll find that as the air leaves your lungs, you just sink to the bottom of the pool. And it's all about becoming very relaxed with this and having that feeling of being in control in the water. And another one is doing some bilateral breathing as well. So you're practicing breathing on either side, concentrating on breathing out. But it is very much a matter of practice. It's easy for me to sit here and say that it's straightforward, but you do need to relax. You need to practice it and continue to just try and make your breath as smooth as possible. Our next question is from Artis de Dumas, sent in via Facebook. And Artis asks, do you need to train only in front crawl during your training? Well, this is specifically about training. And the answer is no. There's no rules, obviously, to what type of training you do. But bear in mind that all of your racing ideally needs to be in front crawl, because that is the fastest stroke. So bearing that in mind, depending on how much swimming you're doing and what swimming background you come from, you can enjoy mixing it up a little bit. Now, personally, I come from a swimming background and I get bored if I'm just swimming front crawl. And I also find mixing it up is a great way just to increase my effort naturally. So, for example, doing something like butterfly is a little bit like running uphill. You can't really do butterfly without putting in quite a lot of effort. So if you do want to mix in some 25 or 50 meters of butterfly, that's naturally going to get you working harder, and it's going to get you strong. And the transfer to freestyle is very similar. Hence, if you watch the Olympics, you'll see a lot of swimmers will race a butterfly and in front crawl. Breaststroke is probably less comparative and less transferable, but it's still perfectly fine to do as a little bit of a mix up when it comes to your training. And backstroke, I find, is a great stroke for recovery. So say you're doing really hard front crawl sets and you've got an easy swim in between times, do a bit of backstroke, helps get more oxygen in and helps your muscles recover before doing a next hard set in front crawl. But still, when it comes to racing, front crawl is the way forwards. And our final question today comes in from Blue Eyes 428 on Facebook. And Blue Eyes says, full sleeve or sleeveless wetsuits? Who needs which? When to use which one? A newbie wondering. Well, to be honest, Blue Eyes, you don't really need to worry about this, because just invest in one wetsuit and go sleeveless. They used to be sort of 10 years, 20 years ago, you'd see actually athletes using a mixture, and that was thought that there was a bit of restriction from wearing a full sleeve wetsuit. But actually now technology has moved on so much that you really shouldn't feel restricted. You get the added buoyancy, and the technology is so advanced that it seemed to actually be an advantage to have the full sleeve, and then you only need to buy one wetsuit. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed our GTN Ask Anything. Do carry on sending in your questions and your comments, and we'll do our very best to answer those. If you've enjoyed this, hit the thumb up like button and click the globe to subscribe to make sure you get all of our videos here at GTN. And also remember, if you like the look of the cap, the t-shirt, or any of our kit, you can click on that link to find your way to the shop. And referencing some more swimming videos, if you do want some help on breathing, we've made a video on bilateral breathing. You can find that just here. And if you're looking at improving your front crawl catch and some drills for that, there's a video just here.